It begins, as these things often do, with a man, a severance check, and a world-changing grudge. In 1981, Michael Bloomberg was unceremoniously booted from Salomon Brothers, a Wall Street firm where he had worked his way up from an entry-level role. The departure wasn't without its silver lining, $10 million in severance, but Bloomberg, never one to take a slight lying down, was already plotting his next move. At the time, Wall Street was a curious paradox. It had money, ambition, and some of the sharpest minds in the business, but it was running on fumes when it came to technology. Deals were inked with pen and paper, and market data was a tangle of ticker tapes and telephones. Bloomberg saw the inefficiencies and realized what few others did. The future of finance was digital. He took his severance check and funneled it into a bold idea. The result was the Bloomberg terminal, a bulky grey box that would eventually upend the entire industry. The terminal was not just a computer. We weren't just giving people data, we were giving them the ability to act on it in real time, Bloomberg later explained. The machine provided instantaneous access to market information, real-time analytics, and even a live news feed. For traders and investors used to cobbling together disparate bits of information, it was like moving from a horse-drawn carriage to a Ferrari. By 2004, Bloomberg's empire was formidable. Over 250,000 terminals buzzed in trading floors and investment firms across the globe, each one a constant reminder of the man who had dared to rewrite Wall Street's rules. But if Bloomberg was the disruptor, Reuters was the old guard. Founded in 1851, Reuters had spent more than a century as the dominant force in financial news. Its name was synonymous with trust, accuracy, and speed, qualities that had made it indispensable in the era of telegrams and telexes. But the world had moved on, and by the early 2000s, Reuters found itself outpaced by Bloomberg's technological juggernaut. Revenues were shrinking, market share was evaporating, and a creeping sense of irrelevance loomed. It was under these pressures that Reuters unveiled Fast Forward, its attempt to leapfrog into the digital age. On paper, the strategy looked daring, even brilliant. Modernize the company's technological infrastructure, slash costs, and create a new platform to challenge Bloomberg's supremacy. But the reality was messier. The cost-cutting was aggressive, bordering on self-sabotage. Thousands of staff members were let go, with entire departments gutted. The goal, insiders said, was to free up resources to fund the new initiative, but the human toll was significant. "They're hollowing out the organization to save it," one former employee remarked grimly. Bloomberg, ever the competitor, saw through the veneer of modernization to the existential threat beneath. "This wasn't just an upgrade for them, it was an attack on us," he reportedly told his leadership team. His response was swift, calculated, and utterly ruthless. While Reuters trimmed staff and scaled back operations to save money, Bloomberg did the opposite. He poured millions into research and development, pushing his terminal into new realms of functionality. Advanced analytics, broader data coverage, and enhanced usability became the hallmarks of the updated system.
From the son of a bookkeeper and secretary to a visionary business leader and public servant, Michael Bloomberg epitomizes American industry and innovation. He revolutionized the financial information industry with the Bloomberg Terminal, and Bloomberg News modernized the way information is reported and received by the public. As a three-term mayor of New York City, he transformed schools, transportation, public health, and more. As a philanthropist, his contributions on everything from gun safety to climate change remind us of our responsibility to our communities, our country, and the world.
"If Reuters wanted to catch up, they'd have to catch us first," one Bloomberg executive quipped at the time. And Bloomberg didn't stop at innovation. While Reuters scrambled to cut costs, Bloomberg turned its attention to emerging markets. In the early 2000s, places like China, India, and Brazil were still considered the financial world's hinterlands, but Bloomberg saw opportunity. He opened offices, hired local talent, and introduced the terminal to new markets with a charm offensive that Reuters, hamstrung by its austerity measures, simply couldn't match. The battle was most keenly felt on the customer service front. Reuters, in its bid to save money, reduced its client support operations, leaving many users feeling abandoned. Bloomberg, by contrast, doubled down on personal relationships. If a trader had a question at 3 a.m., we had someone ready to answer it, said one former Bloomberg employee.
I think in this country we're always looking for a guilty party for reasons. That's what we're doing with the economy. We argue about how we got into the mortgage crisis rather than how we get out of the mortgage crisis.
It wasn't just about selling a product, it was about being indispensable. Traders and investors who rely on split-second decisions and trusted information flock to Bloomberg's more attentive approach. They don't treat you like a customer, they treat you like a partner, one longtime subscriber said. The results of this all-out war were inevitable.
One of the things to diversify the economy is to see if we can get more universities here. We have great universities. There's Fordham and NYU Poly and Columbia. Yeah.
Reuters' plan to leapfrog Bloomberg faltered. The cost-cutting measures, while freeing up capital, also gutted the company's core strengths, including its ability to maintain strong client relationships. Meanwhile, the new platform that was supposed to rival the Bloomberg terminal was plagued by delays and technical issues.
If rent, low rent, and low taxes is the difference between you being successful or not successful, you don't have a business. Yeah. If the having access to the best and the brightest is the difference, this is the place to be.
By 2008, Reuters found itself in a weakened position and agreed to merge with Thomson Corporation. The newly formed Thomson Reuters remained a significant player, but it was clear that the days of Reuters' unchallenged dominance were over. Bloomberg's triumph was not just a victory of technology over tradition. It was a lesson in the value of strategic patience and relentless customer focus.
And it's like when I came to New York, you share an apartment. It's, your parents would say, oh, that's terrible. No, it's fun. It's what young people do.
Yeah. While Reuters chased quick fixes and cut corners, Bloomberg built an ecosystem that prioritized reliability, trust, and constant improvement. Markets don't care about excuses, Bloomberg said in an interview years later. They care about results.
What does a multi-billionaire know about people who are living paycheck to paycheck and hoping that the car doesn't break down?
When I lived in this house, my father made $6,000, the best year of his life. My parents took a mortgage out on the house. I think it was $11,000 if I remember, to help my sister and I go through school. I worked as hard as anybody. Not better. I wasn't any better or worse. I was luckier, I think, than other people.
It's tempting to view the conflict as a simple clash of old versus new, but the truth is more nuanced. Reuters wasn't wrong to see Bloomberg as a threat, nor was it wrong to invest in modernization. Where it stumbled was in execution.
On the left are all of the companies that sell parts to General Motors, and on the right are all of the companies that buy General Motors output, generally cars. The different indices that General Motors stock is in. Here are the other companies that compete with them. Here are the big holders of their stock, analysts that follow it, who's on the board, who works in the company.
Bloomberg, by contrast, understood that trust isn't built overnight. It's earned through consistent performance day after day, year after year. And so, Michael Bloomberg didn't just survive Reuters' challenge, he thrived because of it. His empire grew stronger, more entrenched, and more indispensable with each passing year.
Why has nobody else done this?
For an individual company to do it, it's probably too expensive unless it's your business. This is our business.
The terminal, once a risky experiment funded by a severance check, became the lifeblood of global finance.
You were mayor for 12 years.
Well, it was supposed to be for 4 and then 8, but somehow or other the law got changed in the middle of the night. I don't know how it happened.
Oh, my God. You know exactly how it happened, yeah.
We had 12 years, yeah.
Well, you accomplished a lot.
Well, everybody said you did more in the third term than the first and the second, but that's not true. It just takes a long time to do big things, and so what we delivered in the third term was started in the first or the second term.
Bloomberg didn't just win the war, he made sure there would never be another one.